even where officers are concerned. Excuse me. You can do everything you can physically, everything you can mentally, but you have a candle on the inside of you, a spirit on the inside of you that has to come to the recognition there's a greater source needed here, or you will either have no light on the inside to guide you in times of deep darkness. Because if you don't think that darkness is coming for you as an officer, you better think again. It's coming.
Yeah.
It doesn't just overwhelm the streets and everybody else. It wants to overwhelm you. And it will overwhelm you with despair, disappointment, frustration, anxiety, depression. It will come to a place and a time where it will make you want to do what you have helped other people through in life, and that's take your own life. Because that darkness means to overwhelm the light that's on the inside of you. Why you started the academy, why you became a police officer, why you had it in your heart to do this great calling that God called you to.
Yeah, that's the point all the time, right? It's not only what we do, but why we do it, and then who we do it for. And I find that that's where the real transformation occurs with officers that I know, that I see. Again, I always talk about that, but then I'm always quick to point, myself included, right?
Yeah, and me included. I mean, it's every human
That's what
being.
people need to hear, right? We're not
Absolutely.
just talking in theory here. We're talking through experiences, is that invariably that's where strong transformation occurs when you start reflecting on not just why you do it, but who you do it for.
Yeah.
And when you see that you do it because you believe in things bigger than yourself, helping
right.
somebody you don't know, helping people that can't help themselves.
Yeah.
Right, that's something bigger than yourself. That's and then in that, when you say why would you do that? Right, if you stay focused on because it's important, it benefits something besides me. But then when you start saying, well, who are you doing it for? Well, I'm doing it for my neighbor. I'm doing it for my fellow citizen. All those
Right.
other things. Where I see the real transformation occur is when you say, you know what? I'm also doing it for the one that called me to do this.
That's
one
right.
that's bigger than all the things that I face, right? And to your point, when you realize that there is someone that is bigger than those addictions,
Hallelujah.
those challenges, the evil that you're facing every day, that's where the officers really have this fork in the road, is they come face to face with the evil that they thought they knew, but they had no idea even existed, which is what we see with our residents, citizens, right? They're paying somebody else to do that, but always point out they never see the great underbelly of society.
That's right.
Because they're sleeping.
Thank you
While
very
they're
much.
resting and sleeping and recuperating
Yep.
and, by the way, recharging and then relighting their candles, there's some other person out there, woman or man, that is standing that line, burning their candle down on their behalf.
And these wicked, evil people, they love darkness.
That is right.
They wait for darkness.
That's right.
They look forward to darkness.
Why does
They
the
hide in
majority of the
darkness.
evil occur at night and in the dark? Right? This isn't something new.
No.
It's been the case since the beginning of time.
That's
if
right.
only there was something that could tell us how that occurred and what actually occurred at the beginning of time.
If only.
If
I
only.
was trying to think.
That's right.
I think
there might be something that's revealed.
Something might be
here.
in there.
That's right.
Revealed, yeah.
That's right.
So.
Well, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it is. It's a good deal.
You know, it's telling that, you think about it, that's often what we do as officers. You did make that point, but you think about it, we got light bars on our cars, right? So we're
That's
highly
right.
visible and can be seen, especially in times of emergency,
Right.
right? The red and the blues. And we have that spotlight, right? And so it's not only having the light of your candle, but really what I've found is our job as officers is then when we realize that, hey, what if it's not just our light? You said it earlier. Something inside of your candle, right? That becomes the light. And then when they become the light, really our job is to then reflect that light
That's right.
and to direct it.
Yeah. As Matthew 5, 15 and 16 says, let your light so shine. Where? Before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven.
The source.
The source. Now, the more you do that, the more connected you stay to the flame. If you've ever held two candles together, the more connected they help each other not go out.
Mm-hmm.
You're an officer, say I'm an officer, and we keep the flame going together. We stand together. How much brighter is the light? How much brighter is two candles versus one?
That's right. That's right.
Now, we do this in my arena as pastors. We marry a couple. They'll take two individual candles, and then they'll hold them together, and then they'll light one candle to signify the covenant that's made. One officer, two officers, three officers, four officers.
Yeah.
When you're really on fire, when you're really lit up, other people are attracted to you because they know you have a source of light that maybe they don't have or they had and it got burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
And this verse says, arise. In Isaiah, there's a verse says, Isaiah is looking at the future and sharing what God's showing him about the future. And he says, in the last days, the darkness shall cover the earth. Yes, even gross darkness. You know, that's when it's so dark, you're like, man, this is gross.
Right.
Ugh. But then he says, arise and shine, for your light has come.
That's right.
It's prophesying, talking about Jesus coming to be born, die, resurrect. Your light, and as you receive him, your light has come.
And that's really what you were just talking about, right? Is that Jesus comes along as the light, and he touches your candle,
lights it,
and lights it. And now you've become his light, and then your job here is to reflect his light.
And to stay as close to his flame
There you go.
daily as possible.
That's what I was going to say. How do you keep your flame going without your candle fully burning down?
There you
right?
go.
You got to stay close to the
So I
to
got
the
four.
source.
I got 4 rules to that. Can I show you those?
Yeah.
I got 4 rules that'll help you on that. 4 rules to keep the human spirit trained, and you can train your human spirit to keep fired up, to stay burning, and not to lose that flame. Number 1 is by meditating, thinking about into your heart that book right there that you have.
So you start to internalize that.
That's your source. That's your source of meditation. That's your source of understanding about life. You read, one of my fathers in the faith, he used to tell me all the time, you read a proverb a day that teaches you, tells you how to deal with men. You read a psalm a day that teaches you how to walk with and worship your God. Proverbs. So you go to that book and meditate on that book. It also is an inspiration and keeps that candle lit and keeps the flame high.
I've told you this before. The first time I read through Proverbs, and I think, and I've seen other officers do this, if they don't know that exists, the first time you read that, especially after doing this job for a while, I always hear the same response, the same one that came out of my mouth. Where has this been all my life, all my career? Why didn't anybody tell me this is in here? Because it really lays out wisdom for you to live by.
It does.
Like real world wisdom, right? Not some theological, mystical thing, right? It's real life application that you can apply to your life today.
That's right.
And then I flipped through and I said, well, when was this written? And then you realize, oh my gosh, this was thousands of years ago.
Yeah. But by the wisest man that ever lived, except for Jesus Christ, King Solomon. People came, rich, wealthy queens, royalty people, just to hear him talk about life. Because he had such wisdom God had given him about the things of life. And as you look through it and meditate on it, it brings to you an understanding about human beings and how to live and walk and talk and operate with human beings. Now, you learn good vocabulary, good conversational judo. You learn through the academy and through people that train you how to deal with certain circumstances with your words, whatnot, how to be able to understand how to communicate to people. But the Word of God teaches you how to do it and keep your candle lit, how to do it from the deep part of your spirit, how to understand how people are operating, what they're doing. You can actually even circumvent some things just by having that deep knowledge in meditating on those words, on those verses, on those scriptures.
We think about that. We train officers to be able to, in police work and in society today, right? The big buzzword that is a no-no that everybody keys in and drives into is profiling, right?
Right.
Profiling's got to be against the
Everybody
law
profiles.
and all these other things. And I think everybody understands it in the context of prejudicial kind of profiling or whatnot. But really what's important for officers to be trained to is how to profile criminal behavior.
Right.
Right. And so so you teach them signs and indications and things that are consistent with trafficking drugs, transporting narcotics, where people normally hide or conceal firearms or other weapons, such as edged weapons on their person or in their car. We teach that. The reason why we know that comes from experience, right?
And people who've lost their lives because they
right.
didn't know that.
The experience
Officers
of
who've
others,
lost their lives.
right?
That's right.
Either in a tragedy or in the triumph, right? And so from that, though, it comes from a history of doing this job. And so here again, that's the power of Proverbs. That's the power, I think, in what we're doing, what we're talking about.
Right.
Remnant Revealed is saying, hey, guys, hey, gals, there is a roadmap out there. There are key things that have been learned, lessons learned that are in this book. And so you don't have to repeat the same tragedies in life, the same failures. You can see what some of the solutions are. It's all laid out for you in here. But
right.
again, many of our officers don't know it because people won't talk about it and won't point them to it.
Because they say, well, that's religion. It's taboo. I don't really believe in it. But here's the thing. You and I had these conversations years back about what was coming and about the darkness that was coming. We had conversations, many conversations, about where we were going to be even right now in this particular point in time. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Rick and I trust that you heard something that will help your life. And if you believe that it would help others, please make sure and share. Like and subscribe and hit that bell so that you can be notified when the next podcast is available. God bless you, and we'll see you soon.